everyone. We are the Macmillan Library Marketing Department, and we are coming together today for a Staff Picks Happy Hour. So I hope you will all grab a drink and join us. And we are going to be talking about some of our favorite escapist reads that we've been doing during this awesome time. So my book that I am going to be talking about is Secret Nights with a Cowboy by Caitlin Cruz. I hope you can all see the cover there. Also, I have a special hat to go along with my presentation. But Caitlin Cruz is the queen of cowboy romance, known for her high heat stories full of emotion, humor, and small town charm. Her latest, Secret Nights with a Cowboy, continues her Kitteridge Rant series with a new story of second chances. After a disastrous marriage to her high school sweetheart, Ray has sworn off men forever, but now she's hit 30, craves a family of her own, and the only prospect is the last man that she should ever go near again. Suddenly all their unfinished business is back on the table, including that pesky divorce that they never really got around to finalizing, and they'll get a second chance to sort things out once and for all. So come for the sexy cowboys, stay for the in-depth emotional roller coaster, and guaranteed happy ending.
Thank you, Amanda. Can you show us that jacket again?
Yes.
Hello.
Hello, cowboys.
So, what's your favorite thing about romance novels, or in a broader sense, storylines in general, Amanda?
So I'm a sucker for a good romance, whether it's like a mass market historical or just anything. Romance plot lines are my favorite. And I feel like they just make you feel happy inside. I love that it's like there's hope in the world, that these people can find each other and be happy in the end. So I like the happy ever after. I like the way they make you feel at the end. Mm-hmm. What about you guys?
Well, speaking of cowboys, my favorite cowboy love story is Brokeback Mountain, Annie Proulx's short story about these two guys is heartbreaking. I mean, I swooned the entire time. Oh, and then the movie just broke me. Broke back.
Okay, who's next?
I am not usually a romance reader all the time, but because I kind of like dysfunction and dark twists. However, I have been loving romances right now just because it's a getaway and nothing is going on in life. So why not have some happiness?
Exactly.
And romances always keep me on my toes too. I just fly through them, and that is a very accomplishing feeling.
Yes.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I particularly love contemporary rom-coms. I love the combination of humor and a love story. It just feels very even though we call it escapist, it still feels authentic and because life is funny sometimes, and I appreciate when that authenticity is thrown in the romance storyline.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry, I have to throw in a plug for Emily Giffen. Something Borrowed, Something Blue, etc. something. I actually love every one of her books, even those we haven't published. I don't know what it is about her, and the storylines are so unlikely, but I don't know, you just kind of root for her characters to get together in spite of the impossible odds. Anyway.
Yeah, it's nice having someone to root for.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, should we move on to short stories?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I have let's see, my likes by Shun-lien Bynum. Okay, so this a book of really has something for everyone, and it blends the contemporary world with fantasy, and they all take place more or less in our ordinary everyday lives, but they transport you elsewhere. It's a great escape, but it's not too escapist, so it'll keep you down on earth. Some of the stories include a long dead king visiting a young married woman's dreams, an Instagram-obsessed 12-year-old girl, and then more stories of friendship, family, and really everything else. It is very fun.
Did you have a favorite story from Likes, or even just a favorite short story in general?
So I do have a favorite story from Likes. The first one is called The Young Wife's Tale, and that's the one about the king that visits the married woman's dreams. And I loved this one because it's so real. Like, the feelings in it are so real. It's about a woman and she's married and the beginnings of her relationship, but then it's all about the fantasy in her dreams, and I mean, a king from centuries ago. So it blends a lot, and it's total escapist in the best way.
Yeah, this past weekend I actually watched Ready or Not, that movie. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's awesome. But anyway, it reminded me of A Most Dangerous Game, which I feel like, did anybody read in school? No. Oh, you guys are the worst. It's basically this, like, kind of like mega rich maniac guy brings people to his island so he can hunt them for sport. And
oh, I do remember this.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I feel like that story has just stuck with me. Like, I literally read it in like high school or middle school or something, and it has.
He's like a big game hunter, right? And
Yes.
then he like escalates to people.
Yes. Anyway, so that one has stuck with me for however many years that is.
I used to read a lot of short stories because they have a way of fitting an entire novel into one chapter. And I love that everything is happening in a few pages. And you go through all of these emotions in like 5 pages. Whereas in a novel, if you want to take your time with something, and I'm not really good about that, that's why you read a novel. You spend time with it, you get to know the characters. But in 5 pages, you have to do so much. And that's kudos to the short story writer for being
Very
able
impressive.
to pack a whole novel.
Yeah, I feel like it's a lot harder than we non-writers sometimes think that it is to write a short story, because you have to do so much work in such a short. It's kind of like writing a picture book. Like, people always think that writing a picture book is so easy, but you have to do an entire arc in like a very short amount of time. So yeah, I really appreciate what short story writers do, because it's not easy.
Yeah, I also love how you then take them out of the book too. I always find myself after the 10 pages or however long they are, I think about them so much more.
Mm-hmm. Should we move on to another romance?
Oh, yes, please.
Okay, so lately I've been reading a book called The Princess and the Rogue. Hang on, let me pull it up. By Kate Bateman. This is The Princess and the Rogue. Very swoony, very steamy. So, in The Princess and the Rogue, we have Sebastian Wolf. He's a Bow Street agent. He's the Earl of Mowbray, and he does not believe in love until he meets a beautiful stranger in a brothel, and they share a very passionate kiss, and he starts to kind of reconsider his feelings about love. Sorry, it's not outside. But then he discovers that this mysterious woman is linked to the disappearance
Pesky neighbors.
of a Russian princess. And so he's like, okay, this woman might not be everything I dreamed. She's like tied to this crazy disappearance of this princess. So he leaves her alone. Then he meets the Princess Anastasia Denisova. And she has been living undercover in London as Anna Brown. And she has this dangerous traitor hot on her heels and needs help. And so Sebastian decides to help her, and he lets her stay at his gambling home. And so they're living in close quarters, and she's helping him with his Bow Street cases. And of course, this all fans the flame of their mutual attraction. But if her identity is revealed, they might not have a future, because she's a princess and he's just a rogue. And that's not really an appropriate pairing in their world. So she has to continue to keep her secret. He continues to help her, but can they continue this? That is the eternal question.
Emily, do you usually read romances with princesses, or what's your favorite type of romance?
My favorite type of romance is more of like the contemporary rom-coms. I think I said that earlier, but like Casey McQuiston and Helen Wong and Jasmine Guillory. They're like super fun. So this was kind of a departure from my normal read, but still very funny, still very escapist, and still very like, I don't know, I sped through it. It was a very quick read. It really like captured me.
I love the enemies to lovers trope.
That one's my favorite too.
Yeah. They hate each other so much, and yet
Passion.
I love you.
Passion.
All that passion, yeah.
I also love the like, oh no, there's only one bed. What are we gonna do?
Exactly. Or your best friend who has been beside you the entire time, and you're like, oh, you're not my best friend. I love you. You know, I'm like, oh my God, totally. So
yeah, romance tropes are really fun.
Yeah.
All right, Tali, what do you have for us?
Okay, I am very excited. This is right in my wheelhouse. Can you guess? It's a mystery. So, The Man in the Microwave Oven by Susan Cox. When you Google places to hide a body, as one does, a list of parks pops up. So kudos to author Susan Cox for sticking to major appliances. So what is this book? It's a humorous cozy. It features a feisty and intrepid female sleuth. It was deemed delightful by both LJ and PW. So Man in the Microwave Oven follows the quirky, delicious The Man on the Washing Machine, which won the Minotaur Books / Mystery Writers of America first crime novel competition. And it gives San Francisco soap shop owner, you try saying that 3 times fast, Theo Bogart more trouble. Theo is a she. Her friend Nat has found a human finger in this coffee shop's microwave oven, and her grandfather is reconnecting with his life in the British Secret Service. Okay, so yeah, soap, microwaves, dead bodies. I'm in.
So Tali, I'm curious, if not an appliance, where would you hide a dead body?
I'm so glad you asked. Well, first, I think the first question is, how would I murder them?
Oh, okay.
Oh,
And
a lot deeper than I anticipated.
We had this discussion actually a couple weeks ago during a Minotaur Books live author event. I keep wanting to call it case files, where the authors all, one after the other, helped write a mystery. It was a short story. And one of the polls was, how would you murder your victim? And I was the only one who chose rope, which I found very interesting. You had flamethrower.
Oh.
Poison was most popular.
Oh.
And I know, right? And I was like, I totally do a rope. I don't know why.
The perfect weapon, though, is
a rope. Is an icicle. Oh, because it melts?
It melts.
Ah.
That's a really good point.
Okay,
I
Emily.
rethink my choices. I don't know why rope. Rope is just so sinister. Icicle is very icy. And then the where I haven't figured out yet. Oh, one of the options again, from the poll from the Minotaur Books mystery event. One was melt them in a bath of acid, and I was like, oh yeah. You remember in Breaking Bad they did that? I know this whole happy hour took a real dark turn. We should
From
never
happy
put me in that.
romance to melting
I know.
bones.
I'm killing the mood here, but I finally felt normal among my mystery because they're all like, oh yeah, totally, melt him in the acid bath, set him on fire, decapitate. I'm like, so yay, happy hour.
Yes, thank you everybody for joining us and listening in to our quarantine reads, and we hope to see you guys all again soon.
Don't forget to use a rope.
Cheers.